Hi, my name is Bryann, and I'm here to talk to you this evening about the negative impact that social media has on communication skills in our youth today. Social media can have a lot of positive impacts as well, but it does come along with a lot of negative impacts. Some of those negative impacts include depression, they include isolation, it includes something that is called Facebook depression. It's an actual thing now, like not just depressed, you can be Facebook depressed. It can affect self-esteem by comparing yourself on these curated feeds that are just have a filter slapped on them. They have done studies that in our youth today that the physical activity has decreased because kids are now sitting on social media platforms rather than going outside and playing or actually just, getting up and doing stuff. They just choose to stay and sit on a social media platform. One of these issues that I want to focus on is communication. Social media, it's just like a part of our life now. There's no getting away from it. It's not going away. It's here to stay. It's rare that you meet someone, adult, even as young as 8 years old now, that have some type of social media platform, whether it is Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, you name it, there's a social media app for anything. I was doing some research and there's social media apps for services for people to come clean your house. Or babysitting, rather than meeting these people face to face, you basically judge them on a profile rather than meeting them and speaking to them. Communicating on social media has created a style of communication with our youth that is fast, quick, that instant gratification. So it's hard for them to, I think, really have a conversation and be patient and wait for those people to respond because they're so used to getting that answer just like that. I believe also that it decreases the quality of interactions when it comes to like interpersonal communication. When you go to a party or any type of social event, you see young kids on their phone rather than communicating with each other. As a mom of two teenagers, I see this every day, especially with their friends. Like their friends will come over and they're both like on their phones and they're texting each other rather than actually looking at each other and having a conversation with one another. Another negative impact that I believe that it has on communication with younger people is shortening these phrases of like BRB and TTYL and, rather than spelling out your YOUR, they're shortening it with UR. I find that really funny because I'll have to ask my kids sometimes what that acronym means for that certain phrase because I have no clue. Social media also dominates how adolescents communicate with friends as far as actually talking to one another. I rarely hear my kids talk on the phone anymore. It's more texting or Snapchatting with pictures. I also notice that if they do communicate with one another, they are FaceTiming, which, that can be a positive thing, but it's also that kind of, we can just FaceTime from our rooms rather than going out and actually hanging out together. So we kind of lose a disconnect there with actually connecting with one another. When we can just stay in the comfort of our own home. It creates this type of isolation. Another point that I want to talk about is that, it will be interesting to see how this generation, with their instant gratification communication, not really having to speak, the short acronyms that they use, it'll be interesting to see how they do in job interviews or in public speaking or just things like that. In an interview, you have to make eye contact. You have to be able to engage and stay interested and interesting. And so it will be interesting to see how this generation does with that. So social media, like I said before, has many positive effects. It also comes along with negative. I just wanted to touch point on some of the communication skills that I believe are dying down a little bit in our youth. And hopefully we can maybe implement some things in schools that help kids learn properly how to do that. So thanks for listening, and let me know what your thoughts are on this. Thanks so much.